Now this is a pro-level speakerphone. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Poly Sync 40 smart speakerphone, and it's really pretty slick. It's made by Plantronics, a company that's been making telephony gear for, decades now. They have been making headsets and speakerphones and telephones for just a long time. So it's no surprise this is such a fantastic high-end piece of hardware. Now, inside of it is Bluetooth 5.1, so it is indeed a wireless smart speakerphone. I have it already paired with my iPhone 14 Pro. I could just as easily pair it with an Android phone, and then I can use it wherever I want. You charge it up, and you got 30 hours of talk time on this device. But there's more. It has a 3-microphone steerable array, so it's going to pick you up even from a distance and regardless of where you are. If I put this in the middle of my conference room, then people all around will be able to use it. And here's one cool thing. Get another one of these and they can wirelessly pair and work together. So you can have a long table like in Citizen Kane, something like that. Have one of these near each end and you're going to pick up everybody's conversation and everybody's talk. That is just what you want. Now, it filters out noise and echo, and we're going to test that in just a minute. And as I said, you can wirelessly pair two. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. And here's what's kind of interesting is it not only gives you that 30 hours of talk time, but off the end here, there is actually a USB plug, and you can actually charge your smartphone off of that. In fact, let's have a quick tour. So on this side, you can see that there's power and Bluetooth, and there's that somewhat hidden USB charging port. On the other side is a lock port for, I imagine that's probably like the Logitech lock system, so you can have it, affixed to your conference table so it doesn't walk away. That would be a good thing. And then along the front are an array of touch-sensitive buttons that light up if they're actually available to use at that point. So if I'm on a call, another button will light up. The default ones are mute on and off, and if I mute it, you can see more buttons show up, and then volume up and down, and then you can actually program one of the buttons. There are different buttons for different purposes because it's also certified for Microsoft Teams and Zoom. So they have a version of this designed for Microsoft Teams. You don't need to get that version. The regular version is going to work just fine, but it gives you a specific button just for that purpose. Kind of interesting idea. Now, with this on and properly attached, then you have an IP64 dust and water resistant device. So if you have it at the conference table and someone's got a little bit sloshed at the holiday party and they splash wine all over it, you can just give it a quick wipe with a wet cloth and it's going to work fine. You don't have to terminate them for getting wine on your speakerphone. That's a good thing. So let's see, not much else to talk about other than there is a wired mode and it has a built-in wire, and the wire has a built-in adapter, so it's USB-A, but then you put this on top and now it's USB-C. Now, this is an important thing to notice because when it first comes out of the box, and I want to say the box has no manual, no quick start guide, nothing. You're really kind of on your own. So I will tell you that I learned the hard way. Let's see if I can get this to fit in here to be neat. There we go. I learned the hard way. You have to wire plug it in, and then that wakes it from its shipping mode, and then you can use the power button as a normal sort of interaction. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to search for the manual and download a copy and read through it, because it's also a little tricky to do that first Bluetooth pairing. But I have done that. So let's do some tests. First off, here's the box. I don't think we need it, so I'm going to just get rid of it. So first, let's try just playing some music, because that's always a good test. Is the speaker actually any good? And I'll turn this up pretty loud. And notice you're getting that feedback from the light, and you know what? It sounds pretty darn good. It's not a big, lush soundstage like you would expect from an audiophile speaker, but it's eminently listenable. It has bass, it has a full range response, if I had to audition a musician through my phone or something, this would work fine. This would give me most of the nuance. And for that to be part of a speakerphone is pretty remarkable, because most of the ones I've tested, and I've tested a lot of speakerphones, most of them tend to be focused on the human voice, which is the mid to high frequency. So there's often no bass at all. This actually has bass. This actually would sound really good. I mean, it looks almost like a tiny little sound bar. But so there's that. But what I really want to do is I really want to test the voice pickup. And to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to go into voice recordings on here. And let me go ahead and have it so you can see what's going on. So I'm in voice recordings. And then while I'm using this, I'm going to turn on this. And this gives us the background noise you might experience in, let's say, a trade show, and you're at the break room and you need to talk to the boss and a couple other people, and there's some other people that you want to have on the call, but there's a noisy background. So we're going to actually do that and see how that works, because that's a test of how it can reduce the background noise. So let's start recording. And now what you're hearing is my voice as recorded or as picked up by the PolySync 40. And as you can hear, it's really clean and clear. Now let's get that background noise. And with that noise, I'm going to talk over the noise so you can hear how it sort of does a very subtle job of removing that noise while I'm talking. But if I stop, you can still hear I'm in a pretty noisy environment. So let's stop that. So that's how all that works, and that's pretty slick. I think it works really nicely. And if I mute it, and I'll push this button, but what you could see, hopefully, was that that bar went red. So that's pretty cool. Now, let me stop the recording because I want to show you one more thing. So while we have my recording going, let me show you that the device includes an app. You'll have to download it, but it's for Mac or Windows, or there's a Chrome web-based version, or Android or iOS. So I have the iOS version, and that gives me all the functionality that I need. So if I want to look at settings, for example, then you can see there's a lot of settings. Here's general settings, and secure Bluetooth connection is really interesting, because what it does is if I enable that, as soon as I'm done with my Zoom call or my FaceTime or my Microsoft Teams, whatever I'm using it for, as soon as I do that, it'll drop the Bluetooth connection. Why? Because then when my mom calls me to tell me that I didn't pick up the groceries or something, that won't just automatically end up on the speakerphone. So if you're in a multi-user environment, that can be a really nice setting. There's a lot of other options with equalizers and notifications. And if we go back from general, you can see there's ringtones. And perhaps one of the most important is there's software update. And I already did a software update on this, and you should always check for firmware updates. I already did that, and that's all done, and I'm good. So I can go back to this screen, and not a whole lot else you can do. They do actually have the manual right here in the app. And so if you get the app for your Windows or your Mac, then you will also have that documentation. Maybe if they had a little card that really enthusiastically encouraged you to get that app, that would be helpful. But, you know, you can figure it out as I figured it out. And also shows me the battery level, and it shows me the connection status. So let me turn off that recording. And that's really everything. I really, really like this device. I think it's really elegant looking, and the sound is terrific. I could absolutely see bringing this on a road trip or something, or if I was doing some sales calls and I needed to call into the home office while I had clients sitting at the desk. Something like this is a game changer. This is the level of, look, we're serious. We're a real business. We're really caring about this. It's not like, let's just assume that my phone can be a speakerphone, because you know what? Your phone's not a very good speakerphone, but something like this really is. So what we do need to talk about is the price. Now, before we get to the price, let me just mention some dimensions. So it's 1.5 inches I guess it's that dimension, by 4 inches, by 10.7 inches, and it's 21.5 ounces. It's a fairly big device and it's fairly heavy, but again, 30 hours when you have it fully charged, that's pretty sweet. So it is the Poly Sync 40 smart speakerphone, and it's $299.95, currently discounted down to $239.95 at poly.com. And I gotta say, this is very much one of the best speakerphones I've looked at. A lot of the ones I look at are at a lower price point, so this is a fairly premium item in terms of its cost. But boy, it sounds great. The pickup is great. This is a really solid professional option for people that really want to get to the next level. So that's all I got. I'll hope to catch you in my next video.